15 homeowner expenses besides your mortgage you should budget for as a real estate investor or a homeowner. So owning a home is expensive. On top of the mortgage, there is much more than you think you're on the hook for. Like if you rent out a place, and I just started talking to my cousin about this, you have some breaks. You're not on the hook for it. Your landlord's on the hook for it. So if you're owner of the house, you're on the hook for it. If you're renting, you don't worry about it. When you're renting a home, your landlord will fix everything, which means you don't have to address those issues. So these are things people don't think about. So if you outright own your home, you'll be on the hook for all those repairs. And property taxes can increase or decrease every year, so it is a good awareness to have them in your monthly or yearly expenses. So property tax is number one. The reason why I'm going to say property taxes is every time I got a mortgage for any one of my property, the property tax was not calculated right or was not on the money when filing the next year. So I would either come out of pocket or they would readjust my mortgage to pay for my property taxes on my or my renting ones or the properties I own for personal. So all my properties, I have to worry about property tax and I have to put a separate fund away to cover for it just in case. Now, utilities is number two. Based on where you're at, your utility bills could be different. So if you're in Florida and you're trying to move to Texas, you need to be conscious on how much AC you are going to be using because your electric bill is going to be higher, your water bill might be higher, or your sewer, gas, and cable and internet. These all should be a factor to your home, especially if you are going to be renting them out to people, because they might want you to cover some of those expenses for a higher rent, as the VA does if you rent out your house to the VA. They will want you to cover electric and water and gas and sewer in the rent. So you have to factor that in if you are going to rent out to them. So that is something you want to add to your expenses, and do not forget about it because utilities are based on where you are located. So just because you're in Utah, do not expect your expenses on utility to be the same if you move to Florida, you move to Kansas, or anything like that. You need to do analysis on it. And those factors can change dramatically. The next thing you need to worry about is homeowner insurance. Yes, homeowner insurance can change every year and is required by your mortgage company. So you can spend a few $100 a month or you can a few thousand, counting on how big your house is, where you're located, and what hazardous things are in the area. So do not forget, if you're just looking at the mortgage, you might end up house poor because you do not add your homeowner insurance, and it will affect your overall mortgage. So, because I can't give you a fixed number on homeowner insurance because homeowner insurance in Houston costs more due to flooding, hurricanes. But we do not have to worry about earthquake insurance. So those are different things, right? Counting on your areas. HOA fees. Before you purchase any house, you need to look at the HOA fee and what specific do they give you for those fees. Because HOA fees, depending on each area, none of my properties have the same HOA fee amount. Some of them it's only 20, $30 a month, and others are 200, 300 a month. And they all give you different amenities. So make sure you factor in HOA fees into your mortgage so you do not forget about it, because they will charge you interest on that. While many will be an annual fee, some will break it down to monthly installments. So work with your HOA and they'll work with you. Mortgage insurance is the next one. You know, mortgage insurance doesn't apply to all loans, so I'm not really talking about it. It's only on the highly risky ones, and basically it's just insurance to protect the lender. So if you don't put 20% down, you kind of have to pay it. So don't forget, that is part of it. And a really big thing that people do not understand is landscaping maintenance. Landscape maintenance is super, super expensive. You know, it could be $40 to cut the grass every 2 weeks. It could be $2,000 a month to maintain your property, counting how big of it. Now, even if you are leasing or renting out your place, that's something you and the renter had to agree on who's going to pay. And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I rented it out. I do not cover for the landscaping. The people who are renting takes care of it. But when it's empty, I have to cover the fees and get people to cut the grass and maintain the yards, because no one wants to rent out a property if it looks raggedy. So I have to keep up with the landscaping. And then even if they're paying and maintaining landscaping, you as the owner of the property have to go by and make sure it follows the HOA rules still. Next is emergency repair that comes up on your houses. We all hope that nothing breaks in our house or nothing ever happens. But I'm be honest, appliances break all the time. Like my fridge died this year, so I had to buy a new fridge. My AC went out on both of my renter properties, so I have two brand new ACs on both my long-term renters, and those cost money. I end up replacing them all with brand new ones, so I shouldn't have to worry about it. But those are emergency repairs. If I didn't have money set aside for it, I would be royally behind, because a repair cost on a AC replacing costs $5,000, $10,000, counting how big the AC is, and if it's a single unit, second unit, and if you have to replace the upstairs furnace in Houston. And the other thing you want to add on for the expenses for the house is your home security. Everyone in my neighborhood has home security. I walk around, I see cameras everywhere on everyone's houses. So do not forget to add security to your house, because you want to be protected. And two, it's still going to cost you money. So that is a monthly expense. And even if it's free, you still have to pay electricity to keep it up. So you have to keep that account, because that will run your electricity bill up. And then pest control. You cannot believe how much it costs for pest control. I had to spray for ants. I had to get rid of rodents, all types of things for these properties. And it costs money to do it. Either you have to pay them monthly or a one-time fee to get rid of them. So it happens, and it is a fee you will pay eventually. Renovation. So renovation is going to happen in a lifetime of the house. You're going to have to put money aside to renovate, because eventually you're going to have to fix things around the house, and it's going to be cheaper to renovate than actually putting a band-aid on it. So make sure you renovate, and make sure you take care of your house, because one of the expenses that comes up, especially as lately, is roofs. people are complaining after the hurricane they can't afford a new roof, and it happens. But you need to read your insurance because a lot of insurance don't actually cover roofs if they're too old. So you need to make sure your roof is still in the age where they will replace it, because if it's 30 years old, they most likely won't pay for your roof repair. So based on your insurance, that's gonna be $5,000 to $20,000 depending on where you live. So all those things are factors that can cost you money. So other things that you want to worry about is like the HVAC system. It's very rare that your HVAC system goes bad, but almost everyone I know has to replace a filter, regular clean it, or stuff like that. And you want to keep your HVAC system on a maintenance program if you can, to keep it clean and keep it filled, because the last thing you want to do is not have AC and it's 100 degrees outside. And it happens, and the best way around it is just pay someone to come out once a year, $100 to do regular maintenance on it. So the one thing I didn't really talk about is plumbing. Eventually, you're either going to have to pay for plumbing supply or plumbing repair, because anything can go wrong. Your toilet could break, toilet gets too old, the seals are messed up, toilet seat's broken. Lifespan of a house, something's going to happen to your toilet, or something's going to happen to your plumbing, it's going to leak, and you're going to have to fix it. So make sure you add that hitting thing. And lastly, routine repairs. Anything goes without saying. Over time, it all wears out. You're going to have to fix everything. So anything from starting to leak, to emergencies, to toddler throwing something at a wall, putting a hole in it, anything like that. So make sure you budget. Now, how much should you have an account to budget for all this stuff? Now, I truthfully say you should have at least enough to replace it, AC. So that's about $2,000-$3,000 to put aside for home repairs, and that should be enough to cover your AC repair. Not enough to replace it, but it should be enough to repair it, because if a repair costs $500, you'll have enough. And if worst case scenario, a fridge goes out, well, you can pick up a fridge for about $1,000 to $2,000. So how much do you really need? I think $3,000 is enough, but reality, you can go by and just have $1,000, not in your emergency, but a separate housing fund. So put aside every year to pay for your HOA fee, your random repairs around the houses, and random appliance breaking. Because at the end of the day, it's going to cost you money. And I tell you to put aside whatever you need a month. And if it's $3,000 a month or $3,000 a year, you just put away $200, $300 a month for that. But in reality, if you have a small house, 1,500 bedroom, if you put away $100 a month for it in a separate account, you should be fine. Because by the time you need to use that money, you'll have enough built up to fix your AC, because the average repair on AC is like $200-$300, and the average plumbing repair costs about $200-$300 too. So the average repair, a couple $100, and you'd be surprised how often you had to call someone to fix things around your house. Even if you do it yourself, it's still going to cost you $100 for material. So please like and subscribe to my video. And those are my 15 items you don't forget to add onto your expenses a month besides your mortgage.